There's a moment that happens in your life almost every day. It's small, so small you barely notice it. But that one moment is quietly deciding your entire future. No one talks about it. No one warns you about it. Yet it keeps happening again and again, shaping your life silently while you continue living without realizing its impact. And the scary part is you've already experienced it today. You've already made that decision, but you didn't even notice how much it actually matters. It's the moment you say yes when you actually want to say no. A simple response that feels harmless, but slowly shapes your habits, your direction, and your future. Think about your day. Someone asks for your help, your time, or your energy, and without even thinking, you respond with, yeah, sure, almost automatically, even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when something inside you is telling you not to do it. You still say yes without questioning yourself. Not because you truly want to, but because saying yes feels easier. It avoids awkwardness, avoids tension, and protects you from uncomfortable conversations because saying no feels uncomfortable. It feels like you might disappoint someone, hurt someone, or be judged differently, and that fear keeps you trapped in the same pattern. Let's be honest, you don't always say yes because you're kind. You say yes because you're afraid of what people might think if you choose yourself. Afraid of being judged, afraid of being disliked, afraid of being seen as rude, and afraid of losing people who only accept you when you always agree. So instead of being honest, you become agreeable. You smile when you're tired, agree when you're uncomfortable, and show up when you know you shouldn't. And slowly, this becomes your identity. You become the person who always says yes, always available, always reliable, but inside, you feel completely drained. Here's what most people never realize. Every time you say yes to something you don't want, you are saying no to something that actually matters. No to your goals, no to your peace, no to your growth, and no to the life you could be building if you had the courage to choose yourself. And this doesn't destroy your life instantly. It happens slowly, quietly, in a way that feels normal until one day you realize something is off. You feel tired all the time, but you don't know why. You feel busy all day, but nothing meaningful gets done in your life. You're surrounded by people, but still feel empty inside because deep down, you know, you're living a life that doesn't fully belong to you. There's something happening inside you. Every time you say yes, a small voice, quiet but real, telling you this is not what you want, but you ignore it. And every time you ignore that voice, it becomes weaker, quieter, and harder to hear the next time, until one day you stop hearing it completely. And that's when it becomes dangerous, because now you're disconnected from yourself. You're not just saying yes to others anymore. You see, you're saying no to yourself, your needs, your boundaries, and your own direction in life. One day, you'll realize something uncomfortable. You gave your time to everyone except yourself and invested nothing into the life you wanted. You showed up for everyone else, supported everyone else, helped everyone else, but forgot to show up for your own life. And when that realization hits, it feels heavy because deep down, you know the truth. No one forced you to live like this. You chose it, not all at once, but slowly through small decisions, through small yeses. That seemed harmless at the time. But here's where everything changes. Saying no is not rude. It's not selfish. It's necessary if you want to take control of your life. Because when you say no, you are protecting something valuable: your time, your energy, your focus, and your future. You're not rejecting people. You're choosing yourself. And that decision is one of the most powerful things you can learn in your life. And once you understand this, everything starts to shift. Slowly, your life begins to move in a direction that finally feels right. You don't need to make huge changes overnight. You don't need to become a different person to start taking control. You just need awareness. The next time someone asks something from you, yet don't answer immediately, give yourself a moment to actually think. Take a breath and ask yourself a simple question. Do I actually want to do this? Or am I just afraid and worried to say no? And if the answer is no, then say it calmly, clearly, and without over-explaining or feeling guilty for choosing yourself. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. It might feel wrong, unnatural, or even selfish, but that feeling is part of the change because you're breaking a pattern that you followed for years, and anything new always feels uncomfortable at the beginning. Some people might question you, some people might not like it, but that's okay because not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time. The people who truly respect you will understand your boundaries, and the ones who don't were benefiting from your lack of them. And once you realize that, you stop feeling guilty, you stop overthinking, and you stop trying to please everyone around you. Instead, you start focusing on what actually matters: your growth, your goals, your peace, and your direction in life. You start building a life and thus that feels right, not just one that looks right from the outside. Because a life built on constant yeses is a life built on compromise. And too much compromise leads to losing yourself completely. But a life built on clear choices, honest decisions, neighbors, and strong boundaries becomes a life that actually feels meaningful and fulfilling. And it all starts with one small shift, one moment where you choose yourself instead of choosing fear. That moment may seem small, but it has the power to change everything, Reese, about the direction your life is heading. Because your life is not shaped by big decisions. It's shaped by small moments that happen every single day. Moments where you choose between what you feel and what you fear, and those moments define who you become over time. So next time that moment comes, don't ignore it. Don't rush it. Take a second and actually think. Because that small decision, that simple response is shaping your future more than you realize. And the more you become aware of it, the more control you gain over your life and your direction. And slowly you stop reacting to life and you start creating it on your own terms. You stop living for approval and you start living with intention. And that shift changes everything because real confidence doesn't come from saying yes to everything. It comes from knowing when to say no. And once you learn that, you don't just protect your time, you protect your identity, your values, and your future. So the next time you feel that hesitation, that inner voice telling you something isn't right, don't ignore it. Listen to it. Respect it. Because that voice is guiding you toward a life that actually belongs to you. And every time you honor that voice, you build trust with yourself. And that trust becomes your strength. That strength turns into clarity, and that clarity turns into a life that finally feels aligned with who you truly are. So don't underestimate small decisions. They are the foundation of everything you will become. And if this made you think, take a second and hit like, because it helps this message reach more people, and subscribe for the version of you that's ready to take control, set boundaries, and finally live life on your own terms.